Now, for more on China's crackdown on pyramid schemes, we're joined by Stephen Russolillo, global markets reporter for the Wall Street Journal in Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now, first off, explain to us how the business model of a pyramid scheme works and why it's so victimizing.
Yeah, so it's important to establish the distinction between direct selling and multi-level marketing and how it all potentially sometimes can involve pyramid schemes. So in direct selling, I could be a direct seller. As a distributor, I sell something to you. So I have a license to sell a certain product. I sell to you, I get money, it's all good. Where multi-level marketing comes in is the sense that there are two different types of compensation models. One is that model that I just said. The second one is I also get compensated for recruiting people below me to also sell certain products or services. So maybe I get compensated for recruiting 3 people, and then those 3 people, each of them recruit another 3 people, and you get this triangle, or maybe call it a pyramid. And so the issue and what tends to be problematic in these and why they're sometimes called pyramid schemes is the sense that more compensation comes directly from the recruitment of those people as opposed to the actual direct sales of certain products. And so then you just get money that's flowing throughout the system, or I guess we could call it pyramid, and there's not actual real sales and real money being made.
So, Stephen, in China, why do you think some of these pyramid schemes have grown in popularity over the past several years?
So if it's operated correctly, direct selling can be a good business. We've seen that the direct selling industry has ballooned to about over $30 billion in annual sales, especially in China. It has more than doubled over the past 5 years. So there can be good elements to this business model. The problem, again, is when some things get out of whack, and sometimes the incentives to recruit people and to get people to operate in this, sometimes if you can't be fulfilled, then there's pressure, and then sometimes bad things happen.
Indeed. And so being that some of these things have resulted in tragedy, we're seeing the government trying to crack down on this. So what are some of the ways the government's 3-month campaign against pyramid sellers can really help?
Yeah, so the government has embarked on this 3-month campaign to try to crack down on some of these illegal schemes that are going on. And so, I'd argue it's a good thing. They weren't too specific as to exactly what they're going to be doing, but I would argue that more enforcement in this area is certainly a good thing. But the problem is that you want to see more regulation in here, I would argue, because this is an industry that has been regulated, and there have been periodic crackdowns for decades now, but we still have seen issues pop up from time to time. So I would say that it's a good thing to see that the government is cracking down on it, and I would just argue that more of that should happen.
Now, we know that it does tend to be younger people, students, new graduates who are affected by this. What are some of the ways then that the government could better protect some of these young people who are looking for jobs?
Yeah, so I think there's just more education around this area, around how you can detect what a real company is from a fake company. That could be helpful. And I think just being able to, the skills needed to research what you're getting yourself into, I think would be hugely important at this point.
Now, let's also look at the role of technology. What role does it play in not only spreading these schemes, but also helping try to crack down on this practice?
Yeah, when we think of technology, you think of the internet. I mean, direct selling, when I think of direct selling back in the day, I think of, companies like Amway, and a lot of it was face-to-face, you'd meet with a distributor and you'd sell, you'd sell that way. It could be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be a family member, somebody who's selling a certain product. And so that would be your connection, and then maybe they would recruit you into this, and it would grow from there. With the internet, it's obviously you can reach a lot more people, and there's a lot more potential to grow and expand the business that way. So that's the positive of it. And then, of course, to answer your question, when we're thinking about how the government can crack down, ways that they can search through the internet and see who's promoting what and how to, and whether these schemes are legitimate or not, using the internet and using things like big data and artificial intelligence and all this stuff to try to really have a bigger impact on making sure that the illegal schemes are caught and taken care of appropriately.
And hopefully we can avoid more tragedies. Thank you so much, Stephen Russolillo, Global Markets Reporter for the Wall Street Journal in Hong Kong.